All right.
Jeremy, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, well, my name is Jeremy. I do video. I was an in-house videographer for a health and nutrition company for a few years, and what got me into that was that I really liked what they did as a company, their product and their services, and I saw the videos that they had. Now, I went to college for communications, and it was an emphasis on video and film, but I'd gotten away from it for a few years, and it kind of really motivated and inspired me to get back into it. It was like, you have a great product, great service, but your videos are crap. You know, like they have a Lexus product and service, but they're advertising it like they have a 66 beat-up Impala. Now, Impala can be awesome, but if it's beat up, not taken care of, it's a piece of crap and it's worthless. And that's kind of what their marketing strategy looked like. So I familiarized myself with editing software because when I was in school, it was like the early days of Adobe Premiere. We were shooting on mini DV tape. I mean, like just a 5-minute video took like 6 hours to render. You know, it was like, this is like early 2000s, so it was like a long time ago. So anyway, I needed to get up to date and got up to speed with it and started marketing with them like that. And I have such a strong passion for it, so I kept doing it and kept getting better at it and seeing what was going on in the industry. And as our as our culture has evolved into more digital landscape, how videos become a bigger stream of mode of communication, and it got so much that their emphasis wasn't as much on video anymore, so we kind of parted ways. And I started my own business, and so a few years later, here I am. So to start answering your guys' questions, to be honest with you, there's a bigger answer that kind of falls into the queries that you already have, and the one thing is to kind of look at it on the most simplest basis, and that is video is no different than any other form of communication. It's expressing a message, an idea, a feeling. It's a way that we kind of bond together, the way we communicate. Marketing is just a way of how you package that message. So I noticed that a number of you at least 3 of you said one of your majors was real estate. Are you looking to be agents in the future? Is that a yes or no? Yeah? Yes? Okay, cool. I'll tell you, if you guys are asking questions about video in real estate, one thing to keep in mind is that, and I've worked with a lot of real estate agents, and that's kind of where I'm coming from my experience, and it's not just mine alone, is that real estate agents will, and a lot of people don't recognize the value of marketing, of distinguishing themselves in the industry. They'll just do, well, whatever this is, $50, we'll just do that. It's an afterthought. It's not an emphasis. And it's not just real estate agents. It's a lot of people. And the thing is, today, you kind of got to look at yourself like a movie star and like a company. You're branding yourself. Because the thing is, today, anybody can be a YouTube sensation, right? Everyone could get 1,000 views in a few hours or millions of views in a day or two. So you have to be able to package yourself in a way that kind of makes that good first impression. So to start answering your questions, I'll start with the YouTube versus Vimeo. For me, I look at more technical stuff. When it comes to people that are showcasing their work like a reel or maybe a demonstration, Vimeo is where people go more often. It's for the behind the scenes. That's what people do. But if you want to get the most views, if you want to get more of a, if you want to get your message across better, YouTube's the way to go. I mean, it's owned by Google. So to say that YouTube isn't as professional, it's like, well, professionals are trying to get their message out to the most people. It's optimized with Google, so can't really call YouTube less professional than Vimeo. But personally, I think Vimeo has a nicer user interface, on a technical level. I like the way it works. I think they both have compressions of their videos, so they won't look as good as they would if you were looking at the native file on a computer screen. But I just think there's something more about Vimeo. Vimeo has a professional version that's more catered towards like on-demand services, so where you have to log in, you have to have a password, you know, subscription-based model. YouTube does not. It's all public unless you have a unlisted and you have it private, but then you need to give your credentials into your account to share with other people. So it's depends on what your needs are, what your objectives are when it comes to that video. When it comes to Justin mentioned earlier about the BlendTech. Did you guys all see the BlendTech video? One thing I just want to say with that, and I'll start answering your questions, is that a lot of people, a lot of marketers want to get that next viral video. You cannot make a viral video. The reason why that video became viral and so popular is because it was a creative way to do the same thing that people have been doing for thousands of years, is to market a product, a service, and to show people how it works and to convince them whether or not they should buy it. So, did a ghost just come in? What was that?
I think so.
Yeah. And so what made that so popular is that it took something, I think that video, I think the earliest video was it 2010? But it was like right when the iPad was brand new. One of the first ones is they dropped an iPad in there. Something that's like so valuable. Like remember when the iPhone first came out? It was $800. People were like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And so to throw something so valuable and just destroy it, you know, it's like it destroyed it. It's like, oh crap, well, if it can turn an iPad into dust, then I'm pretty sure it can cut broccoli pretty good. You know what I mean? So it's a pretty elaborate way to kind of prove a point. And that's what made it so cool. It was funny. It was engaging. You know, it was like something like, and they had an ongoing series. And if you look at some of the technical things on there, they had this old campy game show music from like the 70s. They had the fonts they used. It was reminiscent of The Price is Right. You know, so it had this thing where they weren't taking themselves seriously, but they were serious about getting their message across. So, and if you can balance those two things, it really makes it effective. So,
one thing we were talking about on that note, we were kind of talking about this before class, is one of the main reasons why we felt that video kind of took off the way it did was because they weren't trying to sell the product. They weren't initially, when they were first developing that video, they weren't doing it to say, I got a really clever way to pitch this product to the masses. At first, it was just kind of funny.
yeah.
Like an internal thing within the company that the boss would do, and you just absolutely destroy things in their blender. And then they're like, oh, we should capture some of this and get it online. And then started to get some hits, and then it got a lot of hits. And they're like, let's continue playing down this line as far as not trying to pitch a product. We're getting enough brand awareness as is. And I think that's what made it take off. And I think you're...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a blender is just a mechanical knife. You know, if you have crappy knives, it's going to chop up stuff in a way that's difficult and not really palatable the way you want it. You know, a crappy blender is something where you got all these chunks and hard pieces in there. It's like, oh, this is crap. But okay, if it's pulverized an iPad, I think I won't have that problem with this product. So I think I'll buy that one. So I want to start going down the list. I can remember everyone, so I will start with you and just go around that way. What was your question?
My question, I don't have a question.
That's right, you weren't here last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll come back to you. I know you did.
My question is, since like the marketers that you're building the videos for probably have like a certain criteria, do you find that more helpful creatively, or do you think it's like a little bit limiting, and how do you work around that?
Well, whether they know what they want or if they don't, the thing is that before you even start shooting, you have to have everything agreed upon. You know, what's your objective? What do you want to do? How we're going to achieve it? So you got a storyboard. You have to come up with the concept. You know, for me, I found myself when I'm working with small businesses. Some people have no clue. They're like, well, I just know that I need to have a video, so I want to get a video. It's like, okay, great. You'll get a video. I'll make an awesome video for you. But if you don't know what you want to do with it, if you don't know what to do with it, you're not going to be a repeat customer because you're just going to spend $1,000 or however much it's going to be. And then it's just going to be there. Maybe you'll get some return on investment. But if you don't have an objective, if you don't know what you want to do with it first, then it's a very expensive brochure. So for me, I go over that with them. When I found that challenge in the clients that I was starting to get and starting to notice that pattern, it's like, I need to expand my offering. I can't just make videos. I can't be a guy. I can't be just a camera guy and an editor. I have to be more creative. Like, I spent a few years, I lived in LA for a few years, auditioning and doing stand-up comedy and doing a little stuff like that. So I was like, I have a creative bug in me. So, I'll work with people to kind of get that concept together, like if it's something where we can make something that's really cool, like a blend tech, where it's a creative way to get that idea across, so it's cool. It's like, if you guys are looking for something like that, well, let's see, I'll collaborate with other fellow comics, we'll come up with something. They're going to pay for it, but we'll come up with something, They're not going to get all these great ideas from all these guys that we're collaborating with for the price of just making a video. They're going to This is branding. This is not just making a video. It's branding. This is the face of your company. We are taking control of your message and making it work in a way that's effective. So not only do we figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to communicate that message, what that message is, how we express it, we're going to figure out where is it going. Is it going to go on your newsletter? Is it going to go on your website? Is it going to go on your social media pages? Is it going to go, are you going to do native ads? Are you going to do those little video ads that you see on YouTube videos? Where is it going to go? And it kind of dictates what it's going to be about. So whether they know or they don't, we're going to get there. We're going to know by the end, before we even start shooting. So to me, I love working with people that already know. It's like, well, shoot, all I got to do is just shoot and edit. I'm ready to go. If they have a creative director, if they have a marketing person, that makes my job easier. But if they don't, it makes my job more lucrative because I'm going to charge them for it, because I'm going to make it for them. So I know that was something that's very important for me to do because, yeah, you guys look like you're old enough. You remember when MySpace popped up? It's like, okay, we got MySpace. Oh, where's MySpace today? It's still around. Musicians, it's a big deal for musicians. It's actually a really good tool. So it's not dead yet, but it's kind of become a niche marketplace. So social media is not going anywhere. I don't think Facebook, and this is an answer you were asking earlier about social media, is it here to stay or is it just a flash in the pan? It's still evolving. Even Snapchat is becoming a marketing strategy. I didn't know that till about a couple months ago. I was like, I just thought that's where you left your sleazy pictures and no one could find out. I did not know that's a marketing strategy. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason why that's an advantage for companies to have that, because some companies don't want to have that footprint. They want to be able to recycle that stuff. They want to be able to kind of try new ideas without them being there. So that's something I'm working on trying to figure out. I was talking with Justin before class started. Even Pinterest is becoming a big deal. And it's like, really? Pictures? Like, we're talking about video. But it is. And I understand that, too, because I follow a lot of photographers and, recipes, like cooking sensations, people like that. Pinterest has become a big deal. They have a picture of the food. They have, like, the recipe on there and all that stuff. So it's a big deal. Social media is here to stay. Social media is the cyborg to the Pony Express. To find out what was going on, like, let's say, oh, we just had a baby. I'm going to go tell my parents back east. Pony Express. By the time they find out, he's walking already. It's like, it's like news travels so much faster today than it did, 20 years ago. 10 years ago, there's like, think about it, 2005. How many people had a smartphone? Okay, see, one person. 2010, how many people had a smartphone? 2012, how many people had a smartphone? You still don't have a smartphone?
Oh, you're looking at me? Yeah.
I'm looking at everybody. So everybody has. Look how much has changed in just 5 years, and it's going to change even faster. So news travels fast. Have you guys noticed how fast you get information when it comes to news? Do you get it from a news outlet or do you get it from social media first?
Social media.
Social media. And newspaper needs to change their name in the next couple of years. Because newspaper is not dead. It's evolved with the medium. Like newspapers, like for me, if you guys have any technical questions about what I do, I mostly edit on Final Cut Pro. I'm familiar with Premiere. It's what I've started with. I use After Effects. I do motion 3D graphics. excuse me, but Final Cut has become the go-to editor for editorials for the news media. BBC has gone exclusively to Final Cut. New York Times has gone exclusively to Final Cut because the reporters themselves can shoot their own videos and edit it on their laptop and send it up to the network all in one fell swoop. Like, it's become so easy to use. I mean, I know for any of you that's familiar with video editing at all, Final Cut did a massive overhaul back in 2011, and it alienated a lot of professionals. They thought it was iMovie Pro. iMovie is the consumer version of Apple's editor that comes with their each computer. And in some ways, I can see what they're talking about, but it's evolved so much. You know, Final Cut doesn't even have a subscription model like the way Adobe does, and it didn't have that $2,500 price tag before the subscription model. You know, it's $300, and it's evolved. It updates like every 2 months, and honestly, it renders everything faster than Adobe products. You know, it's optimized for the computer so much faster. So it's very effective, and so news organizations have taken advantage of that convenience and have made it something to make them much more competitive in this online marketplace when it comes to video. Video is something, at least for me, and I'm sure Justin showed this with you and other statistics. They say video, the way the human brain processes things, we process information 600,000 times faster with video than we do with text. You know, because you're engaged in much more senses: words, sound, and sight. So when you see someone talking, if you see a video that kind of goes along with what they're doing, it processes in the mind so much faster, and that's why it's become so effective. You know, they say video is now the #1 preferred medium of communications with customers and their businesses. That's how they want to communicate. So when you get an email from a company or a product that you're trying to sell or whatever it may be, if it doesn't have a video in there, it's not going to be as effective. If it says watch in the subject heading, the click-through rate goes up 90%, as opposed to some long form, article, yeah, something like that. You know, they're not going to get to the bottom of it. They're going to get all of that information in the video. GIFs, you were saying about video, GIFs and things like that. GIFs is actually becoming very popular. What GIFs is just, it's like a silent film that's replacing pictures. You know, so is it pictures versus video? Video's already won. It's actually making pictures evolve into videos. So there's a new program that I have now. It's called MorphCut, where not MorphCut. It's what is it called? I forgot what it's called, but it's kind of, I can create those pictures from videos. So it could be like me standing here, like let's say I have a person with very long hair. It's like me standing here and then having my hair flailing in the wind like this, but it looks like a photograph except that one part's moving, and all those things where you see, like, you know, Kermit the Frog or whatever, where he's taking a sip of his Lipton iced tea with his little meme. Well, that's none of my business. He has such insights these days. Kermit the Frog's deep, guys. But yeah, so pictures still have their place, but GIFs is becoming very popular. It's a new trend. So what was another question that you guys had?
Well, hey, Jeremy, you mentioned, you're kind of talking a little bit about what you bring to the table, and Caitlin's question as far as if somebody knows what they want right off the bat, it makes your job a little bit easier. But when somebody doesn't know, then, I mean, that's kind of where a lot of your expertise comes into play. Because then you're able to put together a storyboard or figure out what their message is and then turn that into the video. I think that kind of speaks to the another thing that I wanted to touch on and have you speak on is the difference between kind of a professional videographer and somebody who just has the newest iPhone and is looking to shoot something on YouTube, and maybe talk just a little bit about, you know, kind of the additional things that you do to, I mean, why this is your career and not just a little hobby. But then also maybe touch on some of the stuff that you use in order to produce those videos. And some of the more technical stuff. I don't want to get too buried down in the weeds, but I think there might be a little bit of interest.
Okay.
As far as some of the stuff.
Well, I'm recording this class. I'm using an iPhone 6s Plus, and I'm using a Blackmagic cinema camera. The price point between the two is drastic, but I'm doing that because I can and I know what I'm doing. So I could cut the two together and it'll look good. You know, this isn't a dramatic movie. I don't need 13 stops of dynamic range and close-up shots and shallow depth of field. So I can shoot this where, you know, for the purpose of this video, kind of get a pretty even playing field. You know, this is just a, this is more of just an objective type of shooting style. It's not really, you know, it's not really something that has to be very elaborate. So as long as I have quality audio, I've got a wireless mic plugged into that one. I have a boom for whatever questions you guys ask plugged into the iPhone. You know, I can cut it together pretty well so I can get your reactions and I can get my reactions and see me talking. So, you know, a lot of people will try to, you know, just to speak to the real estate people, I've seen people shoot real estate listing videos with their smartphone. And you know what? If you were someone that went to film school and knew exactly what they were doing, knew everything about light, about shot composition, that speaks to also photographers as well, you could pull it off. If you had the proper lighting, knew how to use it, had a gimbal to kind of get those nice sweeping shots, you could pull it off. But everyone I've ever seen, it's crap. It does not sell the house. It does not give you one reason why you would want to come visit that house to see if you want to buy it based on that video. And if it doesn't do that, then why on earth would you make the video? If it doesn't compel them to do something, I know you have that list. It was on my phone in my notes, but now that I'm using it to shoot it, I know we went through the sales funnel that you guys have in the class, but you know, it's kind of a, you know, interest. You know, you get intrigue, you want to know more, you get compelled, you do a reaction, you either buy, and then become, what is it, advocacy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So advocacy means not only did you buy, but you're like, dude, I need to tell people about it. And when you tell people about it, where do you normally go? Social media. So if you guys are talking about social media is here to stay or got die, as long as people are yapping, social media is going to be here. So I've shot some real estate videos, and I didn't use a smartphone. I used that camera. And not only did I shoot a video that kind of wanted to get you interested into visiting the house, I actually did a little bit, I did voiceover as well. So it's like, you know, it's a headless person when you shoot a video without any voice or text. You know, you got to communicate that message. Your eyes are watching it. You're engaging with people. You know, you're building a relationship with video. Like, everyone gets excited. If you saw whoever your favorite actor is, if you saw that person walking down the street, like, oh man, it's like I know you. And they get away from me. You're freaking me out. But you know what? You've built that relationship with them because, you know, you've gotten to know them. You've seen them because that's the way video works. You know, you make eye contact. You're having a conversation with them, whether it's one-sided or not. So if you put voice and text incorporated with the video, it's a complete experience that's immersive and it's engaging. So that's why I added to my listing videos. And one of the houses I did, it sold within a month. Now, I can't take full credit for it. The agent knew what they were doing. That's really what it starts with, and they knew how to market that product. So he incorporated video. He also is a photographer himself, and he knows what he's doing, and he really engaged with people. He knew what shots. He told me what he wanted to shoot, and it kind of helped me give me a template of like, okay, when I get my next real estate video, if I even bother to do that anymore, because to be honest with you, real estate agents are really cheap, and they don't get it. Most of them don't get it about marketing video. But if you guys end up becoming agents and understand the value of marketing, regardless of video, if you get quality photography, if you're marketing it the right way online, you're going to be better than 75% of the agents out there today. You really, really are. Because most of them, I've been to caravans, I've been to real estate expos and things like that, and most of them, just like a lot of people, they don't understand about marketing in the 21st century. So did I cover any interest that you guys had in what I'm shooting with, what I'm using?
Any other specific questions regarding stuff? Okay.
Yes.
Do you ever use drone shots?
Not yet, and as of this week, the laws are really, the government's really clamping down on that. I mean, there's even a company there's a new app where you kind of alert people where drones are, and they want to shoot them down. So, yeah, it is lame, but you know what? I mean.
Well, I've seen there's already a video out there from one of these security people that have essentially a ray gun that will, when you point it
Yeah. And the reason why, it's the Wild Wild West. Laws have not caught up with technology yet. So that's kind of where things are. It is kind of lame, but once it gets regulated and figured out, so you don't have people peeping over your window, looking at you change and stuff like that, then we'll get it worked out. So.
Well, when you have dozens of reports of drones near airports daily, I mean, that's affecting hundreds and thousands of people, you know, on a plane crash. Yeah, there has to be laws.
Yeah, and the White House, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. So when that works out, I'll get into it. I think drones done well is awesome. In the meantime, I think the next best thing is a crane and a gimbal. Because, I mean, it's nice to get those overhead, dramatic, slow-moving, panning shots. It's really cool. But at the same time, you know, if you can get motion flow, I could do the same thing with Google Maps. I really could. It's right there. But yeah, it is something I'd like to do in the future. I am preparing for it. There is a product, if you guys are into tech and stuff like that. 3D Robotics makes a drone. Right now, it's just for the GoPro, but it's for other platforms and bigger cameras and more elaborate cameras, where it has an app where you can have it do do halo. So you point on the map where your subject is, and it will rotate around it. So it'll give you that nice 360-degree shot. I mean, just like it's like. Kind of, but I mean, it's, you know, it's up in the air. But I mean, you have these flight paths, these preset, you know, keyframe movements where it's like, whoa, you don't need to have a pilot's license now. Now we're really cooking with gas. You know, it's like really cool. And I'm not trying to spend, you know, hours and hours trying to get my pilot's license, trying to fly a drone. I want to do something that works. So when that gets to the camera platform that I want it to work with, I'll probably think about it. So.
Good question.
Yeah.
Anybody else, Mike or Wes? Yeah, go ahead.
I've seen these iPhones with attachments that people put on them, like different lenses.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever experimented with something like that, and how much of a difference does it make?
Well, I've never shot anything for a client on a smartphone, ever. I offered this to Justin, so he's not a client. But
I'm not paying them.
yeah.
That's why it's breaking out.
No, but it's something I wanted to incorporate. I mean, I actually have, this is a boom mic. It's a Rode NTG2 plugged into an XLR adapter that goes right into the iPhone. And this has a TRRS connector. And what that is that it's that connector that looks just like what you'd use to plug in your headphones, except it has a third black ring around it. Regular headphones have 2 black rings. Smartphone connectors have 3 black rings. So if you plug in your regular headphones and it has a mic on it, chances are it has 3 rings. That's the only reason what it's for. It's for your phone. But if it didn't have a mic on it, or if you just plugged in a mic that has a 3.5 millimeter adapter and you plugged it directly into your smartphone or a phone that takes a 3-ring adaptation, it won't pick up the audio. It'll just be plugged in and it'll just block the sound. So you have to have that TRRS. But there is a huge industry for smartphone filmmaking, specifically iPhone. You don't see a huge industry where people are shooting on Galaxies or other phones. It's the iPhone. It's because they market it so well and because people are convinced that it's the best product. Doesn't mean it is. I mean, I have it, but doesn't mean it is. But it comes back to marketing, man. They convince you that it's the best thing, even though it's debatable. So, yeah, I mean, not only will they have lenses, they'll have mics. They even do it for iPads, which is silly. You know, when you see you're at a sporting event, everyone's like, "Oh my gosh!" They take a picture, but you see these things, it's like, get out of here, man. Hey, I can't see. Get your tablet out of my face. You know. So, but yeah, it's a complete industry, and some news organizations are starting to use it. Fox News, Teradek is a gear company. They're actually based out of Irvine. They have a system. It's called Live to Air. And so what it does is, based on a Wi-Fi connection, whether it be a real Wi-Fi connection or ad hoc, which is like you create a Wi-Fi network between devices, you can do a switcher with the minimum of an iPad Air 2. And so what it is that your iPad will have 4 screens, and whether you have 4 other iPhones or iPads, or you have like a camera like mine, but I have a wireless system that takes the feed in there and over the Wi-Fi, and I can do a switcher with my iPad.
Switcher meaning?
A switcher is like, okay, cut to camera 2. All right, now we got a close-up shot, cut to camera 4. You can do that. You can add text, overlay, things like that. The program is $100 on the App Store, and that's all you need, and you have a license to do that with other smart devices. So if I wanted to get, say, Justin, let me borrow your camera for today's class. Let me borrow your camera for today's class. I have a 4-camera shoot. I can have my iPad, and I can cut to this, cut to that. And if I have one of the wireless streaming devices, I could plug it into the computer, and I could literally live stream this class online. Like, I didn't make it today. I'm not trying to, unless you want to. But no, you can do that. And Fox News uses that in the field directly for a live feed. That's the only one I remember because I was at Cinegear at Paramount back in June, and I was at this Teradek booth, and they said that Fox News actually uses that for live stuff, and you don't know that they're using a smartphone. You know, it just looks good.
Yeah, because I mean, oftentimes, you're essentially exchanging this Teradek software for a production studio.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
you have, I mean, you guys watch the show Newsroom, something like that, right? You know, where there's a dozen people with all sorts of knobs and things moving up and 20 different screens. And all of that's being done right now on one iPad, one person, 4 iPhones. There you go. You get yourself a news feed, which is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
So, are there any other burning questions? Otherwise, I was going to have you maybe run through a couple examples of things that you do for companies and for yourself.
Okay.
So why don't you go ahead and do that?
All right.
Do you want me to dim the lights, or are you good?
Yeah, we could dim it because that's pretty washed out. This is a video, and this is an example of someone, they had an idea, but it wasn't complete. They're like, we're trying to go for something like, when they start saying that, I was like, okay, I need to come up with the whole thing because they don't know what they want. And it's kind of like, because when I was reviewing it with the person, with the client, they're like, hey, is there a way that you can have rotate me to kind of look this way? I'm like, bro, this isn't a video game. This is like live footage. I can't like rotate you around. What are you talking about? Like, seriously? But, I wasn't mad. I was like, hey, you don't know what you don't know. But I just thought that was rich. So this is a video for a title company that wanted to kind of have a fun take on, they will go, you know what, I want to see what you guys think. What do you think the message is? I want to kind of pick your brain. I don't want to, if I tell you, then it kind of defeats the purpose of the video. So I want to see, what do you think, what is the message in this video?
If you're looking for a title group with specialized skills like marketing, technology, and of course, skydiving, that gives their absolute best for all their clients because everyone matters, who's willing to go above the laws of gravity and beyond the fear of being eaten by sharks to give top-notch, excellent service, who's willing to go the extra mile to simplify the more complex aspects of real estate, then look no further than the title group at Tyco. So remember, open your next title order with the title group at Tyco.
So what do you think the message, oh, I forgot about that.
Where will they go next for your business?
I forgot about that part. So what do you think the message was in that video? What were they trying to convey?
There's no limits to where they'll go to get it done for their clients.
That's right. They go high and they go low, whatever it takes. Not morally, but just.
And also based on what I saw, they were definitely will think of unconventional ways to get what's going on too.
Yeah. I mean, 7 months pregnant and you're ready to go scuba diving to get a title? That's dedication. Got to give it to her. Yeah, so with that one, that was they had a script that they wanted me to follow. And they wanted to get this message across. They had a budget, so I went with what they had. I wasn't going to make up something else because their budget didn't allow for that. So, but but I made the most out of what they had and what they wanted. They were trying to do something where they wanted to kind of show people like, hey, it's something that kind of keeps them in their mind. They didn't, I didn't, everything, there's a lot of compositing going on there. It's like I shot all green screen outside, so, you get the ambient light of outside that kind of matches better with the background of the sky. So like if I was to shoot that in a green screen inside with artificial lighting, it will look fake. So, obviously it was still fake, but it looked real enough. I didn't want it to look completely real, like this is, Mission Impossible or anything. I wanted it to kind of look cheesy to a certain extent, but also put some production value into it. So, they didn't have any idea about a voiceover. I was like, well, why don't we just do a voiceover? So, I do voiceover. I don't think there's a lot of, video production people that just do voiceover themselves. They might hire somebody to do it, but I do it myself. And, out of necessity now, if I was like, Ben Stein, like boring, I wouldn't do it because it would not add value to the product. But, but since, I kind of have an idea of what that entails and does that, then I'll add that. So, I want to add as much value to their production as possible to kind of give that, without having that headless message like I was saying earlier about when it's just a video playing. It's like, I'm not doing slideshows. I'm trying to communicate a message. So,
So Jeremy, these pupils are going to be running marketing departments in the very near future.
yes.
And going to be asking for budgets from the CFO of their respective companies in order to hire people like yourself.
Okay.
And so, what is the best argument for like a return on investment for a video like this? How did Ticor use this promotional video in order to lead to increased sales, increased money at the bottom line to justify the money that they spent?
Well, the person that I worked with directly on this video was a techie type of guy. He was the youngest person in the group. Not that age has anything to do with it, but he was someone. He used to work at the Apple Store before, when he was in college. He understands marketing. He creates a budget. Doing video altogether was his idea, and this is the second video I've done with him, where he knew what he wanted to do with it. So the return on investment was he paid for the video within 2 months of leads that he got from it. And I want to say it's less, but he got it pretty fast because he was advertising. He got Facebook videos. He doesn't do YouTube ads. He was doing Facebook ads. He was getting a lot of views on it. He was getting a lot of phone calls from it. And I think he just did it exclusively on Facebook because I was like, well, did you do any native ads? Did you do any other marketing? He's like, no, I get it there on Facebook. And I was like, wow, cool. So to answer your question, what is your company doing? Do they have a marketing budget? I mean, they better if you're working for them. Otherwise, you're interning for free. What is their philosophy on social media? I think you had a question earlier. You need to diversify. Everything diversified. Don't put all your like it worked for him that he did solely in Facebook, but that won't be for every industry. So, you have Facebook, you have social media, you have optimization. People are looking for stuff for either companies or answers to their needs or their questions. So, okay, we got real estate agents. What other industry were you guys working in, just to get an idea, so I can kind of give a more broad answer to this next question?
Events.
Okay, events. All right, so another video that kind of can be great or to really get them to get more leads or to kind of attract more people is not just to advertise, your product and services. It's to kind of fulfill things that is popular. There's a saying, do what you love, but whatever the world loves to do, that should be the business that you're in. So I think that was from, who was that from? I think it's from, what's his name in Nebraska?
There's a lot of people in Nebraska, bro.
He's like the rich old guy.
Warren
Buffett. Yeah, Warren Buffett is his code. Sorry. I'm like, come on, there's not that many people in Nebraska. I thought I was narrowing it down there.
17.
I know, but 1 out of 18. You think? No, but so a lot of people. What's popular, guys? Think about it. What's a lot of things people watch. Look at BuzzFeed. It's a great example. They do cooking stuff. They do dating stuff. They do things. Those are the topics that they cover. What's another thing? They talk about pop culture. If you start doing stuff that kind of speaks to that, which is really popular, which gets a lot of shares, which gets a lot of interest, do something like that. Kind of if you're even doing real estate, you could do an example of like a really cool recipe in an awesome kitchen. It's like, hey, you think this is cool? Like I'm making this stuff like this. You should check out 1345 Lemon Avenue. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's an awesome kitchen, and you can find out how you can make more recipes like this. Not just off the top of my head. Now, if I give some more time to think about it, you could do something even more effective and something like that. But, just stuff like that. It doesn't have to be exclusive to your industry. It can be stuff that's more creative that kind of attracts that traffic that you're trying to get in your business. So, got to be creative. So, you want to collaborate with them. Got to be creative. This industry, the internet, you have to be creative to stand out. You will not stand out. You will be at the bottom. You'll be on page 35 of whatever they're searching for if you don't do something to help you stand out. Obviously, on the technical aspect, you have to do some search engine optimization, but you also need to be creative that gets people's interest to get in there. So that's why I was saying branding. You have to brand yourself, your business, whatever it is. You are that actor that's trying to book a gig in Hollywood. Like, that is your job now. You're trying to stand out, cultivate your craft so you can get booked, And in this, the analogy means that you're trying to book customers or whatever it is that your industry you're trying to do. If you're creative enough and you're good at it, you'll be able to stand out. So.
I thought you brought up a very good point. We keep talking about content, right? And the content that we produce. One of the most important things with content is what? It's unique, right? You have that authoritative tone. That you're providing something that your clients are going to actually be looking for and that they'll want. But the unique portion is kind of what Jeremy's talking about. If you're just doing something that everybody else is doing, you're going to get lost in the shuffle. So I think you speak to a very good point. Do you want to maybe show another example?
Yeah.
Do you have another one queued up?
Yeah.
If not.
Let me see. I had some.
Maybe.
Okay. So this one, I don't know if I can make it bigger. This is a testimonial video.
Hello, I'm Michelle, and I've known Mark Johnson for a number of years. In fact, I've referred clients to him to help sell their houses, and with his years in the business, he's just did a great job for my clients, which I really appreciate. Even last year, I sold my house, and I had Mark come on board, and he gave me a full price offer in less than 3 weeks. So can't do better than that. I just love Mark Johnson, and I will always recommend him.
Hi, I'm Mark Johnson from Mark Johnson Homes. I know you have a lot of choices when it comes to choosing a realtor. I have over 20 years experience in the industry, consistently in the top 10% of my profession, and I'd like to be your choice. Come partner with me and let's have a great, successful real estate transaction. Whether buying or selling, I'd like to be your realtor.
Now with that one, it's honestly, this video is very basic. It's simple, but it gets the point across. He's an effective agent. He got a full price offer in 3 weeks. So not only did she say that, I had to reemphasize that with text later, kind of drive that point home. 3 weeks, full price offer. And so, and it was a clean video. He had good sound, had good light. He didn't have the scary monster eyes because the sun was in his, the lighting was off and didn't block the sun and didn't soften it. Kind of was decent looking. So, they had a very small budget. He was just getting into videos, like one of his first videos. I think I've done all the videos he's ever done. But he's a good guy. He has a good message. He has a lot of really compelling testimonies about him as a person and as an agent. He has very good skills with relationships, and so I've made subsequent testimonial videos to kind of speak to that, because, you know, you got to stand out, and people need to know why they should go with you. So, you know, when it comes to that creative stuff, I know we were talking about, you know, really creative stuff like blend tech. Well, those things are stuff that I would like to do, but I need to have the right client to do that. But it's stuff that, you know what, if I don't find that right client, I'll make it. You know, I'll do it for someone that maybe isn't there yet, or I'm not in front of that type of client that's willing to pay for that. I'll do it once, and then that type of client will show up. You know, so you got to create it yourself. Like, you know, I don't want to work for peanuts, but I'll create business myself as well. And you just have to have that determination. You know, so whatever it is that you're going to do with your business, or whatever you do as a profession, you have to have that tenacity to create it. You can't expect things to come to you. You got to go take it. So that has nothing to do with marketing. It has to do with your desire to succeed. So.
Great points. And I mean, I think we saw two really good examples of, you know, kind of the different ways that you can approach a video. Like, it can be fun, lighthearted, and you can have some levity with it, and, you know, kind of get people to chuckle, and that's what brings the customers in, or gets them to do that call to action, right? You know, call me. Okay, yeah, that was actually kind of fun. Maybe I will give them a call. Another one, you know, if your persona, the person who you're trying to sell to, is more serious. This is a huge transaction. I'm selling my house. I don't want some hokey, I don't want some hokey, you know, song and dance. I want somebody to legitimately stand across from me and tell me why they're the person I'm getting in trust selling my, you know, $750,000 asset. You know, that's going to be a little more serious video. You want some more information and why that person is better than the next real estate agent who has their, you know, face on the park bench, right? And so I think it's even though those are two completely different videos, and maybe, you know, the budget was a little bit higher on one or the other, to me it just speaks to making sure you identify exactly who that persona is that their client, that Jeremy's clients are trying to sell to, because that obviously kind of changes who you're speaking to and the way that you create that video. Any other questions, or did you want to do one?
No, I'll answer any other questions.
What else do we got? If you haven't asked one already, I say yeah.
Are you able to upload these videos on the MLS, or is it just for the...
Actually, this one is... The MLS is like a 20-year-old's infrastructure. The picture files, I think it's like 640 pixels. It's super small.
Does everybody know what MLS is? Okay. Yeah, it's just where every house is listed. It's like a search database, essentially.
Yeah. And California in particular is horrible at it. So, but this, this video is on the MLS, unbranded for the agent, because that's the way it works. And then I have a branded one where I got a domain with the address of the home.com, and I put this one on TourBuzz. I got a mixed bag of opinion about TourBuzz, but the guy who runs it will answer the phone. It's like one dude in Atlanta. I'm like, bro, what do you do all day? Answer the phone. All you do is wait here. And I'm like, how do you have time to answer my call? Because I know there are people that are less savvy than me. They're like, how do you upload it? But anyway, so yes, you can upload them. You can put them on YouTube. I would do multiple things. Like if you do a video of a listing, I would get this site like this. I would put it on MLS, and I would put it on YouTube and optimize it in a way that gets leads. And when it comes to YouTube, yes?
How would you optimize it?
I would get a person that does that. But basics, whatever your call to action is at the end, put that first. Well, put that second. The first thing should be the title of the video, and the description should be the first line in YouTube description. Then the phone number and website, and then the description. And then at the bottom, it's a sandwich. The same thing, the phone number, website, and the title of the video. That's kind of what makes things work with YouTube. It's just bare bones, minimum, what you could do yourself before you call someone to do it. And then, then you start doing your keywords. But your keywords should also be in the title and in the description. And I said one of the best ways is to do a transcript of the video in the description. So if you have everything in there, that really optimizes it as well. But so I have that both in there. Thing is, Zillow is a big deal. Realtor.com is trying to compete as well. And so you have to have it unbranded. The thing is that you do the unbranded stuff. You know why they do that? Is because they want to take advantage of it. Zillow they could potentially steal your listings from you like that. But there is a way around it. I mean, I'm the production side, but I know that there's a way to use Zillow and Realtor.com to your advantage. It's not a big bad wolf. You can make it work. It can make your job easier. You just got to talk to those people who've done it well and make it work. So,
Very good.
Yeah.
What other questions do we have? One or two more, and we'll let Jeremy get out of here.
I know there's other questions because when you guys all introduce yourself, I couldn't remember all your questions. And I know I haven't answered them all. So if there's someone that I did not answer that question, I'd love to answer it.
What was Kim's? Do you have fun?
No, I hate it with a passion. Dude, I am a camera nerd. If something new is coming out, I know about it because I am on my phone or in my computer learning every day about what's going on and how to kind of to perfect my craft. So I love it. I mean, that's how I got into it. It's because I like it. I think it's a really cool medium. I like the real estate aspect of doing video because I think it's really cool. I'm a HGTV fan, and I was trying to find the word for it. I'll just leave it at fan. And I really like it. I like, I'm not from California, so it's really cool to see like, oh, these shows take place out here, like Flip or Flop. Like I live in Placentia, and I don't know if you guys watch Flip or Flop, but Christina and Tariq live in Yorba Linda. And my roommate, he's a real estate agent. He's a little bit older, and he was in the same office as them when they first became agents. He's like, yeah, they don't even know. They didn't know what the heck they're doing. I'm not sure if they still know what they're doing. But they got a freaking TV show, and they're getting ready to start season 6. So it's like, but one of the cool things I'll tell you, which you can take from shows like that, is that what they're doing on these shows, like just the one property that they have right there, is enough compelling content to make you want to check out that house. Like you might not have the before and after. If you did have the before and after, oh my gosh, especially if it's a renovation, that really tells a story. And not just a slideshow, but just something that really shows them like this is where this house came from.
But that gets into production there because there's a huge amount of production that goes on behind the scenes. These shows minimize that to the max.
Oh yeah, it's a 30-minute show or it's a 60-minute show, and these are like months.
Some of those with the house renovations, like I hate my kitchen or whatever, they go show up in the middle of winter. Next thing the show's in the summer, so it's it's at least 6 months out when they finally get around to doing something.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're working, let's say if you're a real estate agent that has relationships with your clients, you'll know what they're doing. Let's say you know that hey, I'm trying to fix up this house and I want to sell it. Chances are they're going to be collaborating with you about what I need to focus on to get the most money for this house. Do I need to spend the budget more on the bathroom and the kitchen, or do I need to focus on the bedrooms? Do I need to focus on curb appeal? And so if you're working with someone like that, you might not necessarily need to get a video person like me to come out there and do that because, at the end of the day, that's going to be a lot of money, and agents, chances are, aren't going to spend that much money, like you said. But what they can, at the very least, can do is take pictures. Take good pictures, even maybe get a photographer to do it, which would be better. But at the very least, get some pictures with some composition, and it's lit properly. Because I'm working with a client right now. They're doing a flooring, and they're showing me their pictures on their iPad. I was like, delete all this shit right now. This is horrible. Because it's like, it's dark shadow. Okay, the subject is the floor. First off, the floor takes up like 1/5 of the frame. And so it's like, wait, is this the walls? Is it the cabinets? What are we looking at here? It's the floor. So first off, they don't have that as a priority in the shot. And two, there's mostly shadows, which you can see, and it's like, okay. So, and I'm not going to sit there like, you guys don't know what the heck you're doing. I was just like, guys, you know what? I know what you guys do. You do great work, and these pictures do not do you justice. So you got to be diplomatic. Got to be Nice. But I mean, because you don't trash them. Like, okay, well then we'll probably go with someone that's nicer to shoot our videos. Thanks for sharing with us. So you want to do it right way. But I just want to show this last one before we go. I played like 2 seconds of it, and it has the built-in music track that has nothing to do. I didn't put this crap in here, so I don't know what's happened because this house already sold. So I've kind of disabled some of the things. So I don't know if it's just defaulting to the built-in track or not. But anyway, you'll get the point. You'll still get the voiceover. But I just want to show real quick. These are nice wide shots. Just for you real estate agents here, the photographer is also the listing agent. Yeah, I mean he's done work that's on the cover of quite a few magazines, so he's really good at what he does, and he's a very good agent. To have that combination, it's like whoa, but he hates people. So I mean, it's like 3 out of 4, but that number 4 is like the biggest thing. I hate people. So. But he's actually a really nice guy. He's serious. He's passionate about what he does. He just doesn't want to talk to you. It's not that he hates people. He just the population of dumb people's on the rise, and he just has less tolerance for that. So he's got just to give you guys an idea for the agents here, and I know this is kind of like I'm giving priority to you guys, but there's quite a few in here. This is an exposed shot that balances the lighting of the outside and the inside. And what makes this shot work is that he has proper lighting in here, but not only that, it's the time of day that he shot this. So when you look at stuff like this, if he was shooting this for an agent and not for himself, his photography, his work, he charges over $1,000 for it. But it's like, look, what house is less than $500,000? And 3% commission, that's a lot of money. 2.5%, whatever it is. That's a lot of money. If you can't spend money to make money, then you're missing the point. That goes beyond just real estate. You have to what are you trying to do? What is your return on investment? If you do a $200 photography and it takes you 6 months to sell the house, chances are you're going to lose that listing anyway. And secondly, you're going to take a long time to get money. But anyway, just to kind of put those all together. I'll just show this video, and I hope that these horrible porn music track isn't played on top of it because it's really bad. So.
Welcome to 14 Woodhaven Drive, located in the prestigious gated community of Laguna Woods. This remodeled home offers over 2,500 square feet of space, designed by renowned local architect Chris Abel. With stunning views from the wraparound deck, also enjoyed from the spacious living area, with fireplace, perfect for hosting or entertaining, and a dining room, also sharing this wonderful view. This newly remodeled kitchen features custom cabinetry, George Nelson lighting, and high-end appliances by Thermador, from the 36-inch double-door fridge and freezer, or the tri-level oven, microwave, and warming tray, and the 5-burner range with hood. This master bedroom is a secluded oasis with lavish views from your own private deck. And your style is found at home in a huge walk-in closet. You can also enjoy this beautiful crafted fireplace for cozy nights and chilly mornings. This master bath with its tiled bath, large shower, and dual sinks with oversized mirror are among the beautiful features you must see for yourself at 14 Woodhaven Drive. No matter how you get here, you'll find this home minutes from world-famous beaches and resorts and wonderful attractions. Woodhaven Drive. Find yourself here today.
So it was playing the music I put on there and then the narrator track on top of that, so it's kind of distracting. But anyway, it was a nice, moderate pace. It wasn't very fast. It was, I wouldn't say it's slow, but it wasn't that fast because, for him, he at that price point in that area, he knew the type of clientele that was going to be interested in that video, and so that's the pace that he wanted me to make for that. So that's someone that knows, So sometimes if I'm working with something for a client and I'm not sure about their industry or things like that, I'm going to go talk to someone who does if they don't, because I want that video to work. I want it to work. If I don't know it, I'm going to talk to someone who does and know, like, hey, what do I need to do to appeal to the target prospect that I'm trying to appeal to? What are they looking for? What do they want like that? And so, it was a middle-aged lady that bought the house who worked in L.A. and it's like Laguna Woods. I'm like, geez. But anyway, so that's another thing to kind of keep in mind too. So if you're working on something and you don't have all the answers, network. Get to know people that know what you don't know, to get yourself better. And that's kind of how I know Justin. I'm in a networking group with him, and and that's if I don't know someone that's an expert in the field that I'm working on, either I'll know someone within our organization or with our networking spheres, or he'll know someone or someone else in our group that will know someone that can get that. That's really, when it comes to social media, it's not just about posting funny pictures. It's about networking and communicating with people. It's probably 6 degrees of separation has probably dropped to like 3 these days because of social media. So with that, folks, I hope I answered your questions. If you have any other questions later that you can kind of come up with, relay them to Justin or check me out, creativejeremygay.com, and you can find out more.
Jeremy, how about, first off, let's give Jeremy a round of applause. Coming out, spending some time with us, definitely appreciate that.